Muy buenas chicos, soy Hollings y tenemos noticia de última hora. Blizzard acaba de publicar un WoWCast acerca del parche 11.1. No sabemos realmente qué van a decir, qué van a contar, y para eso estamos aquí. Vamos a ver un poquito el WoWCast, vamos a ver qué es lo que nos mencionan sobre el parche 1.1. Ya sabemos en gran medida qué es lo que van a decir, qué es lo que van a comentar, porque ya lo anunciaron en Warcraft Direct. Pero vamos a ver en general qué tienen para nosotros. Hoy debería de llegar el reino de pruebas. Vamos a ver si nos lo anuncian o no. Pero vamos a darle. Al lío. Vamos aquí. Presentado por Razer. Publicidad.
Hello and welcome to WoWCast. Today we're diving deeper underground into the next content update for the War Within, Undermine. Joining me today are two developers from the team who helped bring this update to life. Please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm David Hollings. I'm a game designer who focuses primarily on battleground and arena maps.
Hi, I'm Mark Kelada. I'm an assistant lead quest designer and the point for the Undermined update.
Thank you for joining us today. Let's jump right in. What made Undermine the perfect location for this major update?
Undermine is a location that we've seen throughout the lore of World of Warcraft for quite a while. Both in manuals back from 1999.
Correcto.
I think it was just like a little location at the south of the map, to Cataclysm and seeing it in gossip text and other interactions with goblins. So for us, it didn't make a lot of sense to put it in the first 4 zones, but it certainly makes a lot of sense to put it here. Another thing that we really wanted to do when we were looking at Undermine was goblins. Goblins, of course, are this zany, creative, chaotic race that we have in World of Warcraft, and we really haven't seen a lot of development in their culture and who they are, their stories. And so this is our way of making sure that, like, hey, players, we want to give you more stories that are based in cultures that we have not yet seen in the world, but then also make sure that we are connecting it back to the larger story as a whole within the World Soul Saga and especially the War Within. For us, at least, we get to do really cool stuff. We get to interface with the 4 different cartels, the Bilgewater, Blackwater, Steamweedle, and Venture Co., and each one of them and their leaders, as we've got to know throughout World of Warcraft. So we have Monty Gazlowe for Bilgewater, Marin Noggenfogger for Steamweedle, Baron Revelgaz for Blackwater. Don't worry, if you've been killing goblins in Booty Bay, you'll be fine there.
My rep.
Yeah. And then Venture Co., not a cartel, but you'll see what we have in store for them. Normally antagonists, but much like everything with goblins, they can shift their allegiances based on whatever it is that they choose to, and we will explain that more within the story.
I'm so excited to learn more about the goblins and their crazy antics. Speaking of the cartels, if we partner with the cartels, what do we get from that?
So the experience that you have with an Undermine.
Esto funcionará, la Repu funcionará más o menos como los pactos de Azkaget. Es más o menos parecido el funcionamiento, ¿vale? Cada semana elegirás uno de ellos. Esto, para que lo sepáis, ya lo hemos recalcado varias veces, pero para que quede muy claro, ¿ok?
Will change based on the different cartels you ally with. So if you decide to go with Blackwater, Baron Revelgaz will be the one blabbing at you in World Quest in his very awesome, what is a pirate goblin sort of voice. And you'll go around and do different things for the Blackwater cartel. And with that, you will also be able to unlock customizations for your car, different transmogs, toys, sort of the general things that we expect to come out of a friendship reputation that you're earning throughout the experience.
Speaking of cars, this new vehicle system drive was mentioned in the Warcraft Direct recently. This new
that we would expect to come out of a friendship reputation.
La montura está chula, ¿eh? Es un recolor de montura que ya tenemos, pero está chula. Tiene aquí como el cambio de marcha, que es una calavera. Mola bastante. Esto es una pet, evidentemente. Esto no sé bien qué es. Una pet o un juguete. Esto es un set, ¿vale?
That you're earning throughout the experience.
Speaking of cars, this new vehicle system drive was mentioned in the Warcraft Direct recently. David, do you have more information on this?
I do, yeah. Drive, which stands for Dynamic and Revolutionary Improvements to Vehicular Experiences, is going to be the new way that you get around Undermine. It's roughly 3 to 5 times faster than a ground mount and a little faster than skywriting at full speed.
I think once people really get a feel for that speed, I guarantee people will really start to see just how fast this car is pretty quick.
How does progression work with the vehicles?
Right, so you'll get your car from Nanny Tallulah, and she's gonna send you on some shipping and handling activities to gain some currency and get some new parts for your ride, and you'll be able to customize your ride, whether you're getting new colors, make it faster, or even change how it drifts. You'll be able to make it your own. Throttle control is going to be extremely important when you're trying to control your car around those like really tight turns of the Undermine.
Also, we do have timekeeper races that players can go and challenge themselves to 4 courses. We have both the forward and the reverse course, and then we want to just see how you decide to make it your own with other players. If you want to do your montages as you're taking a drift in front of the hotel and put it to your favorite music, and please do, right? Like, we really want to see how people make this sort of like an experience that they're getting into themselves.
All right, now let's switch gears and let's talk about delves. Hey, don't make fun of my pun, okay?
There will be 2 new delves, Excavation Site 9 and Side Street Sluice, as well as new variants of Goblin-themed delves for the majority of the War Within delves. There will also be a new Zekfir-style encounter as well, that's going to be hosting all new rewards.
Oh, cool. Do you have an example of one of the...
Antes de ver las recompensas, 2 delves nuevas, totalmente nuevas. Luego, las delves que tenemos ya tendrán variantes de historia goblins, ¿vale? Ya sabéis que las delves que tenemos a día de hoy tienen varias historias dentro. Dentro de las historias que hay, que vamos a ver, tendremos historias nuevas que son en este caso de temática goblin por el tema de Minahonda y el tema de la expansión. Así que bueno, eso viene bastante nice. Además tendremos un reto como el de Zekfir. Vamos a ver un poco las recompensas que nos menciona.
Rewards?
There will be a new mount, the Gobtrotter mount, with new customization options as well, including a gold variant version for the challenge mode.
Son variantes de lo que tenemos ahora el día de hoy del Zeppelin, pero están muy chulas.
Oh, similar to like the Void one that's out right now if you beat Zekfir.
Exactly.
Can you tell us more about Side Street Sluice and Excavation Site 9?
So Side Street Sluice takes place in the sewers of Undermine, and you will get to see what Dark Fuse is trying to do in the sewers, what control they're exerting within the space, and the other sort of antics of goblins away from the public eye and their machinations within the sewers. And Excavation Site 9 takes place in a new section behind Opportunity Point at the south of where we're going. In it, you're going to see sort of like void corruption overtaking Titan ruins to sort of show this eternal conflict we have seen through the history of World of Warcraft of Titans versus void. Within it, of course, you will go and see why it is called Excavation Site 9 with the goblin-themed antics that are down there. It is a super cool environmental
So is our trusty sidekick still Bran Bronzebeard?
Our trusty sidekick is still Bran Bronzebeard, yes. So we decided to go with Bran for the entirety of the War Within, as he is a character people have grown fond of early on in Season 1, with all of his meme potential about webs and Nerubians popping out of them. And also, it gives us an opportunity to rethink what a sort of expansion level companion.
Estoy de acuerdo. O sea, para quien no lo sepa, la idea inicial que tenía Blizzard era añadir un compañero para cada uno de los parches de expansión, para cada temporada. Eso es de hecho lo que pusieron en las notas oficiales, cosa que se olvidaron de quitar totalmente, pero desecharon esa idea muy temprano. O sea, y al final, pues Bran se quedará de forma continuada hasta toda la expansión. En este caso, ahora lo veremos, seguramente lo mencionen, va a ganar nuevos atributos para las versiones Goblins de las de las profundidades, de los abismos. Así que, bueno, pues bien. No va a subir de nivel 60, así que, cosa importante, id aprovechando y subid de nivel ya. Prepararlo, porque cuanto antes subáis, mejor lo vais a hacer de cara a la temporada 2.
Will be, instead of season over season constantly changing and forcing people to relearn the mechanics, the abilities, sort of the kit that Bran has. Also, within Season 2 and at the launch of the Undermine update, this brand will be receiving a new tank specialization. So if you're a healer, you no longer have to feel that you need to spec change into a role that isn't the one that you're connected to. He'll be a ranged tank, so he has a shield and a gun, and then a new set of abilities that he will receive for that. Not only that, but we also have goblin curios that we're putting in there, goblin-themed curios. So a dwarf, such as Brand Bronzebeard, with sort of his personality and how sort of larger than life he is, what is he going to do when he's interacting with rockets and bombs and malfunctioning devices throughout the delving experience? There is a special curio that you can receive from doing the challenge encounter.
Oh.
And it'll allow Bran to call down a mech that you then, as a player, can pilot in the delve.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so it's going to just tie into sort of the goblin fantasy.
Está guapo eso,
Undermine.
Now let's talk about Season 2, which starts 1 week after the Undermine update. Let's go straight into PvP.
Dime la fecha ya.
Yeah, so there's going to be a new arena called the Cage of Carnage, and it's unlike any arena we've ever done before. We took a look at the map pool, and we noticed that we were missing a couple smaller maps. So we decided to make this map a little bit more cutthroat. Players will be dropped in through a trap door and separated only by a metal platform that'll have ramps on every corner. It's going to be quite a tight fit. It should make for some explosive gameplay.
Well, that's what PvP players can expect. What can PvE players expect in Season 2?
Yeah, so there's
Y eso es todo lo que tiene el PvP en esta temporada 2.
going to be a new dungeon called Operation Floodgate. It's going to be a 4-boss dungeon that's taking place in the Ringing Deeps. It's going to be at that big dam that you might have seen. And we are so there's going to be a new dungeon called taking place in the dungeon called
players expect in Season 2.
Yeah, so there's going to be a new dungeon called Operation Floodgate. It's going to be a 4-boss dungeon that's taking place in the Ringing Deeps. It's going to be at that big
la mazmorra,
dam that you might have seen. And we are preventing Ventrico and Dark Fuse from knocking over that dam and flooding the region. So players can enter this dungeon immediately, but Mythic Plus will come out once the season begins. The new Mythic Plus dungeon rotation will include the new dungeon Operation Floodgate, as well as the 4 remaining War Within dungeons. But it will also include some older dungeons, the Mechagon Workshop, the Motherlode, and the Theater of Pain.
Yep. Sorry about that. You're going to be farming my trinkets yet again. I know Soul Letting Ruby is one of the very popular ones that people went after.
I'll be going after that.
And then, of course, with Mechagon, we do have our lovely Cogwheel Skill Shot trinket that I'm really excited to see people use again, especially when they're fighting other motorcycles in Undermine and the raid itself.
Now let's talk about the new raid, Liberation of Undermine.
Okay, so Liberation of Undermine. It is going to be an 8-boss raid. It will unlock a week after the Undermined update goes out. And then we have our story mode also unlocking a week after that.
Modo historia que recuerdo es para que lo hagas en solitario si tú quieres o si no haces banda. Me gusta, para que completéis la misión.
So we saw success with Nerebar Palace and Queen Ansarek in terms of people going into the story mode. You get to experience the encounter, you get to see the cinematics. And for us, Galliwix's encounter is a really core part of the story that we are telling within the Undermined update. And so, of course, it was a no-brainer. We wanted to make sure that we gave you that story mode so you can go in there as well. In regards to this 8-boss raid, things in Undermine happens the Goblin way. And the raid itself is very much a way with which you can see what zany, crazy encounters our encounter designers cooked up.
Vemos cosas diferentes, mecánicas diferentes.
A couple notable examples that I would call out is we have the Cauldron of Carnage that is going to have a gorilla versus a mechanical Tyrannosaurus that are going to fight each other, kind of a reference. And we have the big tank that does the massive J-turn flame shooting out of it. And then we have our DJ boss, who compels you by the power of sound in order to listen to Galliwix and not to anyone else. And then lastly, of course, the Galliwix encounter, once people see that mech, and also what the mythic mount will be, I feel a lot of people are going to be trying to see how they can get to cutting edge.
Tremenda monturaza, también te digo.
I'm very excited about the Carnage fight because that T-Rex, the Mechasaur, that also has a chance to drop a mount, and as a collector, I want that mount so.
Está muy guapa, ¿eh? El Raptor mecánico está muy guapo. Y la montura de Galwix también está muy chula. Uf. El Raptor mecánico está muy chulo. El Raptor mecánico está muy chulo, la verdad. La montura de Galwix está muy potente. O sea, voy a echar un poco para atrás para que lo veáis porque esta cabeza es una montura. Esto será una montura que dará en mítico.
To be trying to see how they can get to cutting edge because it is wild.
I'm very excited about the Carnage fight because
Este es el boss.
that T-Rex, the Mechasaur, that also has a chance to drop a mount.
Y esta es la montura. La montura está muy chula. No deja de ser una reskin de un Raptor. Evidentemente, el esqueleto es el mismo, pero el modelo
And as a collector,
está
I
muy
want that
chulo.
mount so bad.
It's the
Está muy
coolest
chulo.
mount in the game, in my opinion.
Está muy chulo.
Are there any other rewards we can look out for?
Well, with a new raid comes new gear sets and set
Yes.
bonuses, and these set bonuses are going to be themed around the magnificent
dámelo.
Galagio. Whether you're a tank that wants a little bit more luck of the draw, or a
gusta.
healer that needs a little bit added insurance, the 2 set bonuses are going to be unique per role, but the 4 set bonuses are going to be unique per specialization, and there should be something for everyone.
Los tiers, el primer bonificador, si no lo he entendido mal, es de función y el segundo bonificador de clase.
And these set bonuses are going to be themed around the magnificent Galagio. Whether you're a tank that wants a little bit more luck of the draw, or a healer that needs a little bit added
Efectivamente. El primer... los tiers van por conjunto. Primer bonificador y segundo bonificador. 2 piezas y 4 piezas. El primer bonificador para todos los DPS es el mismo. Para todos los sanadores es el mismo. Y para todos los tanques es el mismo. Y el segundo bonificador de tier es de clase.
insurance. The 2 set bonuses are going to be unique per role, but the 4 set bonuses are going to be unique per specialization, and there should be
Primer bonus de lo que eres, DPS, tanque o healer. Segundo bonus de tu spec. Mago escarcha, mago fuego, DH devastación, guerrero protección, paladín retri, lo que sea.
be something for everyone.
Before we wrap up, what are you both most excited for with this update?
Oh, it's got to be drive for me. I mean, I cannot wait to start drifting around the Undermine between queues. It's going to be my new anti-AFK activity for sure.
Going in circles, just like how we always do.
Absolutely, but this time sideways.
So I'm excited for 2 things about the Undermine update. 1, I finally get to be able to talk about Undermine, which is awesome. 2, players getting to experience the new take on
La
Goblin.
zona pinta muy guay, la verdad.
One of the things that the team from StoryCorps all the way down that we have really been excited about is really showing a more relatable story about goblins. And I cannot wait for people to see the passion that has gone into everything about Undermine. I cannot wait for people to experience from our local stories to our main campaign. There is a lot of love and care and passion put into Undermine that really resonates throughout the whole experience. And it really was this moment of just everyone who is excited to work on goblins. We finally were able to be like, here it is. Let's do our best that we can in terms of creating this super compelling story.
Thank you guys so much for talking to me about Undermined, and thank you for tuning into WoWCast, and we'll see you next time in Undermine.
Bueno, pues tenemos bastantes cositas, la verdad, tenemos bastantes noticias, tenemos bastantes novedades, en este caso anunciadas así en el vídeo de WoWCast, cositas que no sabíamos, como por ejemplo el tema de los tiers. Pinta bien, yo supongo que hoy llegará el PTR, si esto es lanzado justamente ahora, Supongo que hoy mismo llegará el PTR. Decidme abajo en los comentarios qué os parece. ¿Os ha gustado las novedades que presenta el parche 11.1? No sabemos cuándo se va a lanzar. Esto debería de aparecer más o menos al final del mes de febrero, principios del mes de marzo. Seguramente final de febrero, en este caso el parche, la primera semana de marzo, en este caso el inicio de la temporada. Igualmente, espero os haya gustado el vídeo, la reacción a las novedades del WoWCast. Si es así, darle a me gusta, suscribiros al canal siempre para estar al tanto de las novedades. Recordad que toda la información la tenéis siempre disponible en nuestra página web, www.altertime.es, y que todos los días nos encontramos en Twitch realizando directo. Nos vemos en el siguiente vídeo. Chao, chao, chicos.